we go.
Button already.
There we
We're
go.
live. You were so
There
live.
we go. We're
We're
so
live.
look. Today is December 1st.
It fucking is.
That's a war crime on Hague proportions.
I am not feeling it.
I am not feeling it either.
No.
It's like I cannot believe that we're already at December 1st. You know?
Oh my gosh.
You know, but at least I served it as kind of
my God.
What?
I hate Facebook.
What would happen?
It's making me look like a goddamn beggar because I'm monetized. Look in there. I didn't pin those comments.
What happened?
You can help support me by sending me stars. I got to figure out how to take that off of there because I'm not going to sit here and beg for fucking
stars.
20s. Yes.
So what? So I don't understand. What are these stars?
Okay, the stars are basically like fucking sticker comments or whatever for, like on YouTube. Like they can send me for every star. Facebook will give me a penny, but I don't want that shit up there like I'm sitting on a corner with a cup begging for change. Like I don't like that.
For change.
Yeah, I don't want that. I'm looking to fully monetize. This is just one step to getting there.
Right. Oh, okay. No, because I've been seeing
in my comments.
I've been seeing those star things all over the place, and I just didn't understand what it was.
I mean, I'm not going to throw your stars back at you, but I don't want it sitting there. You can help support me by sending stars, bitch.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the notice is that
5 cents. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like yeah. So I guess Nita just wants you to know that she didn't post that.
No,
Facebook
I did not post that. That Facebook automatically did that, and I'm going to figure out how to shut that off because I do not like it.
Homes for the poor.
God damn, I am poor, but I'm not that fucking poor. Good morning, everyone. Like Daphne said, it is December 1st, 2023. That means I have 30 days to get my shit together so that I can remember to say 2024.
Oh my God.
Oh,
yeah, no. We need a tribunal at The Hague for December. No.
All right. Well, we're here to get canceled today. You ready for this?
Absolutely not, but hit it. Oh my goodness!
I'm just gonna do a fucking disclaimer real quick.
Oh,
we do love titties. Everybody loves titties.
Well, I like. Sure. Okay.
Okay.
You know what I really like? Check out my new kicks. Check out my new kicks.
Oh, holy shit!
So, I've always complained to Jose, right? He's been buying the same Jordan Monarchs for like the past 12 years, right?
Right.
You know, and it always pissed me off because it's like he would buy he would buy literally the exact same sneaker for all these years. And I go, those things don't discontinue? Because no, it's just the same thing over and over again. Every year they just and it's like, God damn it. It's like, you know, every time I find like a sneaker that I like, women's shoes
next year.
Yeah, not even. It's like in 6 months discontinued. So if I really, really like a shoe, it's like I just have to like settle for it at that year, and then it's like, and then I have to start the whole process again of finding the shit all over again. And you know, so but Jose is able to get the same fucking Jordan Monarchs for like 12 years in a row or something. Like, and they're identical. There's nothing different about them. It's like it's like one continuous shoe.
He didn't change up his color scheme.
No, he doesn't. Now he's not into that, right? So I was watching. What was it? Frugal Aesthetic. This is a channel. It's an absolutely ridiculous skate fashion channel. Because for some reason, whenever I need, whenever I need like information about fashion, women's fashion, I watch men talking about men's fashion. I don't know. So, he was talking. So he was doing a chart about basic clothing to have in your wardrobe, but of course it's geared towards men. And then he talks about the Air Force Ones, and he's saying how Air Force Ones, classic, it's like, you're always going to have it in this. And then it's like that's when it hit me. Always have it. It's like, the answer to my problem was always there from the beginning.
Get you some men shoes.
It's like, get like a guy fashion vlogger to tell me to buy Air Force Ones. Because this is a shoe that's always being produced. That's always in
not
production.
Sponsored.
Not sponsored unless, Nike call me.
yeah, bitch, take your money.
So it's
Send
like
stars.
So finally, I finally broke down and got a pair for a Black Friday sale. They're rather inexpensive for the type of shoe that it is. It's a Nike, and I'm just happy now that I have a goddamn shoe that I can buy every year, an identical model, and not have to worry about it. I just have to buy them in black, and I'm good. I'm good to go. It's like, you know what? I really appreciate not having decision fatigue on a goddamn pair of shoes. So I've been breaking these in for like the past several days. So I was actually a little worried because when I first got them, it's like my toes felt like they were like this.
Ew.
But after a couple of days, I guess like it kind of evens out.
Thick socks and cramming in there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I've been doing. So now it's like they're a lot more comfortable, and they have a little bit of a platform on it for my short ass. So, just enough that, it feels like, okay, it's like, I don't feel like I'm going to trip over stuff. No, actually it's like it's just enough. It's just enough. So I'm pretty happy with it. Although, like I said, to finally have that decision fatigue just taken out, because I know I can go anywhere and buy Air Force Ones. It's like I don't need to chase it online. I could just go to Steinway, go to any one of the sneaker stores there, just walk in going Air Force Ones white women's sizes, and they'll go, here it is. Like I wouldn't even need to try it on.
I didn't have the fatigue because you know what? For 30 fucking years until I went to New York. New York does that to you. Because when I went to New York, I realized that fuck Converse.
Well, what's funny was that Converse was his number 2.
Converse has been my go-to for 30 fucking years. 30 fucking years I've been wearing either a red pair or a black pair of fucking Converse.
And you could always find Converse.
Always. Get a good fucking Dr. Scholl's insole, and they're comfy as fuck until you get to New York City and walk 10 miles.
Well, you see, that's the thing. I used to wear Converse all the time, and I can't wear them because I really do need the arch support. I really do, so at least, the Air Force One seems to be working really, really well. So I'm just happy with that. So
just do it.
Just do it. No, really, just do it. Yeah. So it's like, so that's so that's my kind of like shoe thing going on right now. So oh my goodness. So I guess so. You know what? Before we get further into this, hello everyone. And by the way, who's in the chat anyway? I know a couple of names. I saw HR. I saw Imagine.
Mark Dudley, Imaginist TV. Let's see. HR's here. Michael Delafonte. Michaela. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, and yes, I see my beautiful eyeball people. All of you. You're all crowding up in that corner over there. It's like, Welcome. Thank you so much for coming over and watching us from regions beyond. If you're watching us from Facebook, please come on over and join us here on YouTube, because Facebook has a tendency to disconnect for some reason. Although I don't know by
I figured
how much
it out.
now.
I solved the Facebook problem.
Oh, you did?
I did.
What's the Facebook problem?
They changed the way you have to assign permissions inside StreamYard when you're streaming to them directly. So
right.
yeah.
So now we can see people on
as
Facebook
long as they've given permissions for their names, we should see all the Facebook comments.
Oh, there you go. So there you go. But it's like, yeah, but and if you're following us on Twitter, look, Twitter doesn't even allow us to see your comments. So like I said, come on over to YouTube, join the sexy people in the chat. If you want to converse with us directly, it's a lot easier that way. But you know what? Maybe Facebook will be a little bit more stable now that Nita is somewhat monetized and begging for stars.
I'm not begging for that. I swear to God. Like, I don't know why it did that. Like, I didn't know it do that automatically. There has to be a way to shut that off, because that is annoying as fuck. So
yeah, so yeah, I know, really. So on that note, hello everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and you know what that means.
You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
And I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales, which returns to Kickstarter in 2024 in 4 goddamn weeks.
Man.
It's like, well, 2024 is in 4 weeks, but yes, Tall Tales returns to Kickstarter with a re-release of issues 1 through 5 of the new story arc Tears of the Mother, and the brand new issue 6. I just finished it the other day. Jose is still checking over the lettering, so so that should be coming out in 2024. And also I am known for my medieval fantasy drama Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which also returns to Kickstarter in February 2024. The pre-launch page for this campaign is now live. So if you want to be notified when this campaign goes live, please hit the link in the show notes and sign up so that you get notified when the campaign goes live, so you don't miss anything. I'm planning something really special for the first, usually I do something for the first 40 people. So I'm going to be doing something special for that as well. So if you want to make sure you don't miss anything, sign up to get notified when the campaign goes live. Also, in the meantime, you can read both my comics online at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, and Tall Tales, TAILS online.com. And you can check out all of my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get notified when any of our shows go live. And to tell you more about it, here's Nita.
Okay, yeah, I'm Nita. I'm the
stars.
And my stars. Oh my god. So I run the Indie Comics Network on YouTube. We try to keep it indie comics centered. We got some new stuff coming. We got some stuff leaving. It's a big shit show. So hang out with us until the beginning of the year when we get our shit together, and then we spend the next 11 months falling apart, and then we try to get it together.
Exactly.
Again. It's just a vicious cycle. We just keep doing it. It's like this works.
See what happens.
Don't toss whatever. Yeah, we got some. Yeah, so hang tight.
Right. There you go.
Ignore our outro because the schedule's wrong. I don't care, but we're not making another one until we figure out our own shit, because I'm tired of paying people to edit shit.
Well, there you go. Yes. Yeah, so
actually, I'm not paying for it. Well, technically, I'm paying for it. It's not.
Hey.
That's off my name. No.
Remember, Indie Comics Network.
.com.
Oh, yes, it is. Right. So, this particular topic for today was several days in the making. We were going kind of back and forth. Not necessarily me and Nita with this topic, but discourse happened on Twitter that Jose in the end found himself in the middle of. And if you want to really get into the nitty gritty of that, Jose will be hosting Twitter Mania X1X.
Oh my gosh.
On his channel at I think like 9:30 p.m. on Saturday. So once he puts together does he have a link for that already? We'll put the link up for that as well.
Yeah.
He will be hosting, well, Tyler Carpenter and Tony of Star Noir.
Tony James
of Star Noir, and they will be discussing a tweet that Tony had put up, and they're going to kind of, I don't know if debate's going to be the right word, but so if you want to like see kind of like how that pans out, Saturday at 9:30. Oh, and once we get the link, we'll put that in the show notes. But every time I see kind of like comics discourse, it always looks like this.
Oh God.
Every time I see it, right? So you have the one side saying the only way to make money on Kickstarter is to cater to a subset of speculator collectors by coattailing on popular cover artists who will take their fans with them once the cover is sold. And then you have the other side that's like real longevity comes from creating a compelling world that doesn't require gimmicks to sell, but does require a higher level of marketing skill to create a reputation of being worth the money and time investment through entertaining stories and a reasonable schedule that gives the reader confidence of completion. So it always seems to kind of like go in these like two very extreme directions. And, so
they're both right.
Well, you see, that's the funny thing. Wrong. It's like they're both right and they're both wrong. But one of the phrases that keeps coming up, right, is, it's like, why is it that Kickstarter prioritizes, TNA books as opposed to great storytelling, right? And everybody is like saying great storytelling, and the thing is, though, this has been a comment that this has been a phrase that's been floating around for a while. Everybody wants, I just want good storytelling, right? But then it's like you kind of look at their shopping habits, and it's like, are you sure, bro? Are you sure?
What does this even mean?
But in the end, it's like, so I'm sitting down really thinking about it, especially. I mean, I'm still ruminating over what I learned from my last campaign, Medieval Unicorn Viking Slut. And this whole thing kind of like still, I don't know. It's like I said, I'm still kind of percolating the info. So, everybody keeps saying, we want good storytelling. Why isn't good storytelling rewarded on Kickstarter? But here's the funny thing. It is.
And they can go together.
It's like you look at the top 200. Well, that's true. If you go to the top 200 most funded books on Kickstarter, TNA books don't dominate that 2%, that high 2% at all. I mean, okay, if you're Polito.
Yeah, Brian Polito dominates.
Yeah, Brian Polito dominates.
Followed up by not even a close second.
It's not even a close. I remember I had to keep scrolling.
Right.
And even then, you're hitting multiple Brian Polito campaigns before you hit to somebody else doing that type of book. Right. But the thing is, though, is that Neil Gaiman ate Brian Polito's lunch.
Right.
Neil Gaiman ate Brian Polito's lunch. Keanu Reeves ate Brian Polito's lunch too, right? A fucking book about stick figures doing role-playing games ate Brian Polito's lunch. The Etherington brothers, who do how to draw, how to think when you draw books, ate Brian Polito's lunch.
Right.
So it's like it's like, so the top 5, Brian Polito is only the 5th one out of the top 5.
Nothing, not knocking Polito. He's a god in his own right.
Look, he didn't earn his place. I'm not saying. But the thing is, though, there's a lot of, I still think there's a lot of misconceptions as to what people think Kickstarter is. Now here's the thing, though. Kickstarter is a platform. Okay, they have. What are you seeing? What are you seeing?
Nothing. I was just thinking about that's not how Kickstarter works.
Oh yeah. Well, Kickstarter is a platform. Okay. As a, it's like, I think, like, compared to all the other crowdfunding platforms that are out there, Kickstarter is incredibly generous to the starter creator. No matter what you're creating, what kind of book you're creating, right?
Right.
Because it's like, look, I started off my very first campaign. I started off with 14 backers, right? By the next one, I was up to 40 something. And then by the time I put out Eager Raven, I was up to 100 and something. And I wasn't really doing much. I didn't know what I was doing at the beginning of Kickstarter. I mean, technically, Jose on his very first Oswald campaign raised $5,000. I mean, he had to grind. He was traumatized by the grind he had to do on that platform, to sell that book. But he made $5,000 on his first campaign. So, the thing is, it's like, so you can't tell me that Kickstarter isn't offering anything to creators.
Right.
Because it's like, yeah, you can literally start creating your audience on Kickstarter. You can't do that on BackerKit. You can't do that on Indiegogo. I mean, how many times I'm seeing people who can raise like several $1,000s on Kickstarter. They go to Indiegogo and it's like, oh, enjoy your $30.
Fucking crickets. Not even $30 sometimes.
Yeah, it's like, it's like, oh, don't spend that all in one place. Huge difference. And so it's like, yeah, so it's like, for people to say that, oh, well, Kickstarter's doing this and Kickstarter's doing that. It's like, well, are they really? What are they doing? What is Kickstarter really doing? And I think, so people are putting a lot of blame on Kickstarter, or at least trying to, when it doesn't make any sense to me. Because, okay, so back to the whole thing about good storytelling, right? We all said it. We've all been saying it, right? That this is something that if you want longevity in any creative endeavor in comics that you're doing, you need a foundation of good storytelling. It's like, no matter what, people have to have a reason to give a shit about your book.
Right.
And if you really want longevity outside of the gimmicks that anybody can apply, we've spoken about it before. It's very easy to job the numbers on a Kickstarter campaign.
Right.
It's very easy. Oh, I'll just do a couple of expensive tiers. 1 or 2 people will buy that. It's like, oh wow, look, I raised X
$40
amount
million.
I raised. Well, no, you see.
I'm doing it for the show. It's got
of course, drama. So those numbers are easy to job. It's but the thing is,
you don't even have to do the tiers. You could go in on Kickstarter. It has the donation area. You could just not even fucking back shit and just throw a shit ton of money on it. But the one number that cannot be fudged on Kickstarter is the backer count.
Right. That one's a little bit harder. But at the same time, though, even the backer count, because, like, look, I got the highest backer count that I ever got on my campaigns on my last campaign.
Right.
The question is, how many people are going to stay? It's like, I ran a very, very specific campaign, and how many of those people are there because of that specificity? I was re-listening to one of our previous shows where we talked about the 6 things consumers care about.
Right.
It was always this talk about, if if you're selling something, you have to offer. It's like, the people buying your thing has to feel like they're getting something out of it. So what are you offering? what does your book offer? And again, everybody says, oh, it has great storytelling and whatnot. But again, it's like, what does that mean? But we'll get to that in a minute, right? So remember the 6 things that people care about. Yeah, I know. The 6 things, the 6 things that people buying products care about. Right? It's like, and this is outside of what you may think is important, but these are the 6 things, right? So from the easiest for you to do to the hardest for you to do, right? So the easiest thing that you can do to provide value through your creative work to a customer is to, 1, offer commissions, right? But that value is one-on-one, right? It's like your value is literally per person, right? If you wanted to expand on that, the next one is fandom. What fandom are you catering to? Right? We're talking about fan art and fanfic, or, it's like, so, people care about the nostalgia factor, it's like, of fandom. So it's like they have an interest and you cater to that interest. That's another easy way to get people to pay it, to find value in your work, right? Number 3, the one that, pretty much a lot of us, are floating around in terms of this context. I mean, it was the reason why I did my last campaign the way I did. Nudes, lewds, and outright porn. You want to get, attract an audience. You got your titty covers, you got your porn, you got, it's like, everything is in that section, so it's like, will that garner you an audience? Yes, it will. That will definitely garner you an audience. I don't think it's coincidence that I have the most backers on my campaign because I was offering full out porn on it.
Right.
Not teasy little variant covers. No. You were getting the full Monty in my books. And I happen to see people, it's like, oh, well, that's interesting. And it's like, oh, welcome. Now the question is whether yes, exactly. Now the question is whether they're going to stay.
I've already seen one conversion for you.
Oh,
they're waiting for the
there
next
you go.
book, so.
There you go. Wonderful. But the thing is, though, that is the thing. It's like, how many of these people are going to stay? Is my next campaign going to go back up to 180? When it was kind of floating around 150, 150 backers, it's like if it goes back up to 180, then probably this, because I'm not expecting 233 people on my next campaign. Right. The next ones, and I guess is here. It's emotional resonance, whether people are having an emotional resonance to your book, which I guess could go with that good storytelling. Right? If your storytelling is compelling enough that they're willing to follow your work, that's the value that they find in your work, right? And then the last 2 is very, very high skill level. That it's not good enough. It's not good enough to just be good. That you have to be, like, as Jose put it, on top of the game, not on top of your game. Because you could be on top of your game and still suck. So you have to be on top of the game. Your Bernie Wrightsons, your Arthur Adams, your Tim Vigils. It's like your Neil Gaimans, your Colleen Durans, your Keanu Reeves. It's like, well, actually, Keanu Reeves is actually in the next.
He falls into the next one.
So you have to be on the top of your skill game. It's like, for people to really say that's like, what, everything else aside, your skill is so high level, I can't ignore it. Right. Last one, the hardest one for all of us, fame.
Yes.
If you're famous, you can sell whatever the fuck you want. You could do whatever the fuck you want. The audience is going to be there no matter what you do. You're famous. They know your name already. That's it. You can do, it's like you can do no wrong. Neil Gaiman has the combination of fame and skill and high skill.
He's one of the exceptions.
But that's what it is. But the thing is, though, is that the only way he got famous was because of his high skill. So he had to float in that second tier for a while before he was able to move up into the top tier, where he probably only had to put out one post about the campaign and millions of people spread the word for him. You know, Brandon Sanderson, $40 million. I think he holds the record on Kickstarter. $40 million. You know, again, combination of, he was already a New York Times bestseller, who also I think worked with Neil Gaiman. I guess everybody works with Neil. If you're at that level, everybody works with Neil Gaiman at some point. Oh no, it was no, because Brandon Sanderson really, I guess, like he finished the Wheel of Time series from Robert Jordan. That's what was confusing,
Right?
And I think that was kind of the series that pushed. But even then, it's like he had to have his own thing going before anybody says, you know, oh, you have to finish this book, this series that Robert Jordan started, you know, whatever. So, you know, and then it's like, okay, let's go to what was it? Sticks of the Round. That's Sticks of the Round, right? So that's the stick figure book, the D&D stick figure book, right? That's number 3 on Kickstarter Comics most funded, right? Now that series I have been seeing, I mean, for decades practically. It felt like I've been seeing that book since the 90s. You know, it's like you go to a convention. There was once, I think, one convention that I went to where they actually built like kind of like an animated diorama, and you see like the stick guys, like,
oh my god.
So I kind of remember that. Like I remember these guys from like the longest ass time. Now, the thing is, though, is that I wouldn't necessarily call them famous, because if you go out in the street, I don't think anybody would know what you were talking about. But more likely than not, they might know Good Omens because it's on whatever channel it's
Netflix
on.
Or
Netflix.
whatever.
It's on Netflix.
Or is it Amazon?
Right. You know, like it's on TV. So they were probably more likely to recognize that than Sticks of the Round, right?
Right.
But what does Sticks of the Round have that got them over on Kickstarter? They had that audience. They were just famous enough. Actually, you know what Kickstarter actually, you want an in on Kickstarter? You know what Kickstarter really, really is biased for? The 1,000 true fans.
Huh.
You know, like if you have those fans that will follow and support you on Kickstarter, you are going to have a much easier time raising money on Kickstarter than someone who is just writing their first book, screaming to the wind that you have great storytelling, and then maybe you'll make $2,000 on Kickstarter. You know, you know, so yeah, so if there's anything that Kickstarter is biased for, is the 1,000 true fans. Do you have the 1,000 true fans? Then you're going straight to the top of the list. You know, so bring up that comment again, Michael DeFont.
This is a whole other show. Like I really want to have a show based on this right here.
I was told I should do an erotic X-rated book because I would be good at it. But I think it would have to be under a pen name so it does not confuse or lose the audience for the other books that I do. You know, it's really funny. That is that could be its own topic. But really quickly, I'm going to tell you my experience with it. So as somebody who does both kind of like more general audiences type of work, and also does erotic work, it really does depend on, I guess, the context of how you're selling both of these things. At conventions, what I noticed is that you really can't have the porn and the clean stuff on the table at the same time.
You shouldn't.
You know, it's like you can't, because people will see the porn and they'll automatically assume that everything on your
table is filthy.
So in the end, it's like, you know, so contextually, I wasn't able, you know, to really take it, because it would kind of like just taint everything on the table.
Right.
You know, I never bothered to use a pseudonym because there's, I guess in the end, it's like there's nobody I feel like I have to be hiding from. But then again, you also have, you know, and it's like, yeah, I just never felt the need You know, like I didn't think that it hurt me at all. Like people know that I do it, but I don't think that that it really like held me back. It's like, look, it's like there are just some days I just want to do some Lord of the Rings, fantasy stuff, and there are just some other days I just want to draw werewolves fucking. So it's like, I mean, I have those. I am full of multitudes. you know,
that's different. These are you're talking about the guys that just, oh shit, I forgot we got to do the Spotify thing. Okay, so
yes,
Mark says you got to be true to yourself. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So Imagine says you got to be true to yourself. I hate people who jump to adult stuff when all else fails. Not saying you did that because that's a part of who you are. Folks do that shit though. No, absolutely.
They absolutely do. If my book's not selling because my story is not good enough, here, let me slap a titty sticker on it.
Right. What? Now here's the thing though. So Nita, you're in I don't know, you're scrolling Kickstarter.
Right.
Okay, you're scrolling Kickstarter. Let's just say, you're feeling a little in a way, and you're looking for some really, really hot covers.
Okay.
That's what you're kind of like in the mood for.
Okay. Yeah.
How long would it take for you to find what you're looking for on Kickstarter?
Well, because of my algorithm, not long.
Right. I mean, it's like, could you say you can make that decision within 30 seconds?
Of seeing it?
Yeah.
Most of the time, yeah.
So okay, you're in the mood for buying variant covers. It's like you're in the mood, you want some artwork.
I know what I'm looking for when it comes to the art.
Right.
If I'm just looking for art versus story,
right. Yeah.
I do. Right. I have a very specific.
Right. So it's like, but it's safe to say that within about 30 seconds you can decide what you want or don't want. Right. Okay. What happens if you're looking for something to read? You're looking for that good story.
Then I'm a little slower. Then I'm going in and I'm reading your description. Then I'm going in and looking to see if anybody's commented in your updates. I might even go to your fucking Facebook profile and see how you presented and sold the story yourself. Like,
right.
I'm not. It's different. Damn it, you're making me look basic as fuck.
Well, you see, but here's the thing, though. I mean, but that's kind of not the basic part. But the thing is, though, it's safe to say that if you're looking for something good storytelling, you're looking for a story
that's digging deeper. It's going to take longer.
Right. It's going to take. It's a much more involved process. Now,
right.
what happens if it's somebody you've never heard of?
Okay, before, if it was somebody I'd never heard of and they got my attention, I would probably go ahead and back the book if the art was quality.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, not so much because there's been I've been burned a lot by different platforms. So I'm like, I hate to say it, but I am.
Well, okay, let's keep it to Kickstarter. Let's keep it to Kickstarter then.
Okay.
Right. So it's like so you're feeling like, okay, I want to read a comic with a good story.
Okay.
So how do you start your search?
Actually, my search usually starts on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm doing my fucking Facebook assignments to do the monetization crap or whatever. And I'm scrolling through the fucking feed and it's usually art that'll catch my attention.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go click and look and see that's in the genre. I like the fantasy or horror aesthetic. Mm-hmm. Like so that's usually what I'm looking for.
Right.
And then from that point, if the art catches my eye, I'm going to, like I said, that's when I'm going to start looking into how they're selling their story.
Right.
Like I'm going to look at your Kickstarter. I'm going to read your story description. I'm going to watch your video, whatever. I'm going to actually go look at your campaign from there.
Right. Now, because we also deal in a medium that is chapter based.
Right.
You know, it comes in issues, you know, unless you're waiting for a trade, it comes in issues. How does that affect your decision? Considering, you know, like, what you think that the average creator, independent creator, maybe puts out like 2-3 times a year, puts out a book?
For a first timer, it's a gamble. But I'm more likely to back somebody that's putting out a couple of issues at least a year. Like if you put out one issue and I go back on your campaigns or you put out, say, I find issue 2, the art for issue 2, it's a fantasy, sexy fantasy, fucking drama or whatever, and it caught my attention. I'm going to go to your Kickstarter. I'm going to look at it. If your previous book was 2 years ago, I'm not going to back you because I don't feel like waiting 2 years for the next part.
Good point. Good point. Yeah, you had mentioned that before, and that really stuck in my head. Like, for some reason, I don't have the attention
span for that shit.
Yeah, you know, it's like I never really thought about it that way, and once you had said that, it's also one of those things that stick in the back of my head, like, you know. It is the fact that it's like, yeah, how long is it going to, okay, you have this good story. How long is it really going to take for you to tell it?
Now, I might follow, if it really caught my attention, I might follow you in hopes that one day in the future, you're going to release a trade.
Right.
But as far as your floppy.
Right.
I'm not waiting 2 years for the next 30 pages.
Right. So okay. So pretty much, and even so what you're saying is that even if you do find someone's first book intriguing, it doesn't necessarily guarantee a sale.
Absolutely not.
Right. You know, so it's like, so if we're looking at this from the customer's point of view, right? It's like, you know, if the whole thing about, oh, good storytelling, good storytelling. It's like, you know what, in the end, it's like I said, it's like, you know, Kickstarter, it prioritizes people with a customer base. Right. Let's even narrow it down even further.
Right.
Kickstarter, it you know, it's like if you have a customer base, you're going to do fine on Kickstarter. If you're just starting out, it's going to be a long haul for you until you build. It's going to be a grind. Yeah, it's going to be a grind until you build that customer base. In the end, that's what Kickstarter prioritizes. Do you have a customer base? You're good.
Right.
You don't have a customer base? Well, we'll kind of nudge you along, but you still have to do that work. So that
it works if you work it.
Right. It works if you work it, you know, and that's, and the thing is also so if we're looking at this from a consumer point of view, I mean, we were just reading that Forbes article the other day, how the average person doesn't even read advertising.
Right.
Right. So, okay. So if the average person doesn't read advertising, how do you sell a good story to people who won't even bother to read the advertising?
You have to have a quick elevator pitch, a quick, intense elevator pitch. Like, because, okay, so the Forbes article, the issue with using it as a base for this is the fact that when we're looking at comics or novels, even, you are selling to readers.
Right.
So these people, God damn,
I mean, technically Neil Gaiman, you know, Matt Wagner, they're proving just fine. Keanu Reeves, they're proving just fine that readers are more than happy to spend a lot of money on Kickstarter.
Right.
Right.
The readers are there.
The readers are there, you know, so, you know, so it's like, is the question really about good storytelling? Or is it, you know, like Kickstarter doesn't prioritize good storytelling? Or the fact is that there's no getting around marketing yourself? If it takes 30 seconds to buy a titty comic, but it takes you days to think about whether you even want to follow a new creator long enough to even know if they have a good story, Is it any wonder that, yeah, there is, as Tyler Carpenter likes to put it, like there's this ecosystem on Kickstarter that
Right.
looks like it's benefiting that. You know, is it any wonder if it only takes 30 seconds to find a cover that you like and buy it, as opposed
but I'm not going, okay, but here's the thing. I'm not buying every cover. Okay.
Well, no, I'm not saying
no. I'm not buying every fucking cover that I find fucking attractive or whatever either.
Yeah. No, absolutely. We can't afford that.
No, but
and we don't have the wall space.
He's right.
You know?
You
see, because that
that's art is just easier to sell because
right.
it's a visual medium.
Right.
But as far as the entertainment quality of the read, I'm not going to even know that. No matter how you verbally tell me about it,
right?
It's still a fucking gamble because everybody thinks their goddamn book is the best thing ever written.
Right, exactly. So nobody's out there saying that they're writing a
with enthusiasm. You could sell me a goddamn turd. I'm not going to know until I spend my $30 and it arrives.
Right.
I won't know myself.
Right. Well,
so I think that's where the reluctance to go based on the whole good story. That's where the good storytelling issue becomes flawed.
Right. Because also here's the thing too. Okay, you're looking for good story, right? Right. But it's like you want something now, right? But you want to make sure you get a good story,
right?
Who are you more likely to throw your money at easier? Somebody that you don't know, that you have to do all this research on to make sure that they're doing something.
An established creator I'm already following, probably.
Right. So it's like a recognizable name. It's not exactly famous.
Not fame. I'm talking like mid. I'm still talking about you indie guys that somebody
but you know the name. But you know their name. You already know the quality
with them. They have more than one book out.
But even then, if you had a choice between an indie creator that you know already, that you recognize already, and an established, I don't know, more mainstream creator, like if Sam Keith put out a book.
Oh, Sam Keith's put out a book. That's where I'm going.
Right. So there's your 30 seconds, right?
So the max is my fucking goal.
Right. So you have your quality, right? You have top of the game.
I know I'm going to get the top of the game, the quality art. I'm going to get the good writing. I'm going to get what I want.
Right. So there's no question that that's where you're going to be putting your money.
Absolutely.
But somebody who you're not so sure about, it's not going to be that quick of a decision.
Right.
Unless they're hitting very, very specific parameters. Right. So I think that's kind of the thing that we forget to look at in terms of like there are people who are actually, Imaginos is saying the story and art could be great, but you may not be the particular audience. Am I making sense? That's true. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Shane is saying use great art to get attention and invest time in building the audience and your brand before the launch. Aha. Always. Yeah. You can't just show up.
Market
you can't
yourself.
Just show up.
Right.
I mean, and there's a lot, and you see, and that's also where I think a lot of the complaints are too, where it's like people are just showing up and they get a little frustrated as to how their campaigns are progressing, and then it's like, oh, it can't be me. Jim says, if I ever put out a book, I expect everyone here to back it. I don't care if you like
Jim,
it.
With your art, people would be a fool not to back it to check out the story because we all get to see your art. Your art is phenomenal. Right. So yeah, I'm going to check out your first story.
There you go. So it's like, but it's very, very specific parameters, right?
Right.
So yeah, so it's like I think that like people, they come on Kickstarter, it's like they expect success to come very quickly, and it doesn't.
Right.
I guess the kind of like and then they get frustrated with that. I guess to use myself an example, right? I did Medieval Unicorn Viking Slut. It was kind of a side quest project. It really wasn't a project I was supposed to be working on, but I did because the joke was just too funny. And luckily I had an interest already, to do this, because technically if I hadn't have done it, I might have been drawing issue 10 now, not issue 9. So kind of let's put that in perspective. Because of this side quest, I kind of pushed myself back issue wise. So I decided that I was going to use this project, right, to kind of take everything that we learned here when it comes to like, okay, variant covers and adult work and whatnot, right? I was firmly creating this campaign in that, what is it? It was, I think like the 3rd tier. Yeah. So it was a commissions, fandom, porn. So yeah. So on that 3rd rung of this ladder, right? So it's like, okay, customers want porn. I'm going to give it to them. Right. So I planned it out. I was promoting. It felt like I was promoting this campaign for a goddamn year. You know, it really did. Right. And when finally the campaign went live, right, I made about like $7,000. Let's just round it down. $7,000 because I was closer down than I was up. Or was it 75? I would have to look, but it was around $7,000, right? When my average, when kind of like my average sales on Kickstarter for my individual issues was around 3. So for an individual issue, you know, it did really well because of, you know, what I was offering.
Speak of the devil.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Let me not dox myself.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, but as the experiment went, right, it didn't perform the way I was hoping. You know, in the end, expectation and hope, or, you know, it's like, it's 2 different things. And even then one has nothing to do with the other. Right.
Right.
You know, it didn't, for the amount of extra work that I put into it, it didn't perform the way I was hoping.
Right.
You know, now, am I going to cry about it and say that, oh, you know, everybody's.
Are you going to cry and quit comics, Daphne?
Yes, it's like, oh, well, you know, it's like, oh, yeah. You know, it's like, no, it's what I learned from, I took what I could learn from it, right? Which means that, okay, it was a fun book to do. I don't regret doing it, but I didn't feel that in the end, all the extra effort was worth what I was trying to prove, what I was trying to accomplish.
Morning, Carl.
Although I don't regret having the book, having the book. So it's kind of like that weird thing, you know. It's like,
but as far as you saying you felt like you promoted it for a year, you did.
It felt like it. I mean, I was so tired by the time it launched.
From the moment the Facebook joke started.
Yeah, it's like it was, yeah. So, you know, so it's like, so it's kind of strange because I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who would have liked to have failed at $7,000. You know, just like I'm sure that there's, like me, when I look at Brian Pulido failing at 200,000, it's like, bitch, you know, it's
not a failure.
You know, you know, so I think that what it is that a lot of people, they go in to Kickstarter, you know, and they're trying to make this big bang at the very beginning. Right. But the thing is, though, they're offering something that doesn't create a big bang unless you already have the audience there ready to make it a big bang.
Yeah.
You know, and especially if good writing is something, a good storytelling is the thing that you're going to focus on, because we've already said it takes 30 seconds to buy a TNA book. Right. It takes a little bit longer to be convinced that your book really has the good storytelling that you're claiming.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, I mean, even this is something that, you know, I struggle with. How do I sell a book? How do I convince readers that my book is the one they should pick up? You know, I mean, with this last campaign, I was really studying romance fantasy Kickstarters. Now, talk about people who cannot depend on artwork to sell their stuff. They can't slap. Even it was funny is that even when they slapped a chiseled hot guy with fangs on the cover, that was not the selling point. you know, and usually it was kind of like really questionable stock art anyway, so I wouldn't exactly call those covers hot.
Most
It's
of
like
it was garbage.
you
Most of
know,
it.
I mean, it's stock art is not,
Stock
you
art
know,
or AI crap is what I
right.
was
Yeah,
finding when I go
exactly.
up
That's
over
what I was
there.
finding a lot of, you know. Um, and you definitely, yeah, and it's like, and me as somebody looking for very specific things, right? That stock art was not doing anything for me. It's
Right.
like, you know, it's like, look, I'm literally, although with this writing, you know, it's like I'm seeing like the way these writers are selling their book, right? So, you know, they're talking about the trope list. I was goofing on the trope list to Nita from the very beginning, right? Until I realized what it was for. It was how they were selling their books in 30 seconds. If someone only is scrolling on their phone on your
You're right.
campaign and only
Wow.
has 30 seconds and they're only giving you 30 seconds to sell your book.
Well, then I'll forgive them now, because I tell you what, that shit is so cringe to me.
Well,
Like,
it
hate it.
is kind of yes, it took me a while
Enemies
to
turn
kind of,
to lovers and blah blah. It's
yeah,
like,
that
God,
type
that
of
is
thing,
the
right? The
dumbest
one
shit.
bed, the
God, I
whole
hate
thing,
that
right?
shit.
You know, rainy nights, you know, it's like whatever. But the thing is, though, is like in this
Slow
context, now
burn love.
yes, it makes sense. You're trying to sell your
It
story
absolutely
to
makes
very
sense now.
specific people
Okay.
in 30 seconds or less.
Wow.
And then I'm coming along and I'm going, it's like, okay, this is all well and good, but does your shit have werewolves in it and are they fucking? That's all I need to know. And then I'll kind of make my decision afterwards. 30 seconds. You only have 30 seconds. If you only have 30 seconds to sell a book, what can you actually say except, you know, beyond great storytelling? Because here's
Right.
the thing, when I actually put money down on your book, your shit better be entertaining when it comes to the story.
Damn straight.
So technically, I don't want to hear that you have great storytelling.
I don't want to hear that you have great storytelling. I don't want to hear that you have a strong female character.
Right. You know, it's like, I don't, because it's like, you know what? No, I need you to have great storytelling.
Yeah, that needs to be there
I
already.
need
So
you.
what's
That
in
has to be
story?
there already.
Right. Okay.
Especially if you're selling a novel to me.
Right.
You know, that's kind of like
Especially
bottom rung
Kickstarter
shit.
novel. Them bitches is like $50 a piece.
Right.
Easy.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. It's like we're talking about like 400-page books.
That's a bag of weed. You
That
better
it's like,
sell
yeah,
me.
that you're spending at minimum $70 on. You know, so it's like, so yeah, so the novelists are using kind of like, so I'm trying to be, I'm beginning to kind of integrate, because the question is that can what the novelists are doing convert comic book readers? You know, it's like, you know, it's you know, so it's like that's
Are you
another
going to
that
be making stupid ass TikToks?
oh God, no.
Oh, okay, thanks. Okay.
No, because
as long as you stay
that
here,
was the
Daphne.
other thing. I was sending
Throw
Nita
your
some,
tropes.
yeah, it's like I was sending Nita some book talk videos that I was finding, and
Talk
it's
about
like, and it seems that
cringe.
that's, yeah, no, a lot of it is, although a lot of them has me rolling. There's one particular guy that does this crone character, but the thing is, oh, these TikToks are, we're talking about authors are doing complete skits based on fantasy tropes, and they're really funny, but the effort to make them is like, no, I'm not willing to do that. Carl
right.
says, I've been writing since the 1980s for pay. People tell me that I'm a great writer, yet every book is a struggle to sell. People seem to think that they can just shove something out and it sells. That's, again, this only works for about 10 authors
That's
in
right.
the world.
The celebrity authors.
Right.
That's how that works.
Right. It's like, oh, what is it? What was the name of that? Because it's like there's what's James Patterson. I read that James Patterson accounts for 1 of every 7 books sold at bookstores. I don't even know who the fuck this guy is.
Really?
Yeah, James Patterson. You know, and then of course you have your Stephen Kings, and you know, it's like, you know, the more contemporary adult fiction, you know, contemporary adult fiction writers. Remember when John Gershom, was all the rage, every other person on the train station, in the trains were reading The Firm. Michael Crichton was the it guy for a while, I mean, yeah, it's very, it's like very specific. Yeah, they say, I think it's like, yeah, there's two of them. Yeah. Yeah, it's like to think that the entirety of publishing, of traditional publishing, is propped up by only 7 writers.
Wow.
I mean, think about how crazy that sounds. That a majority of the money is coming that allows these publishers to exist is coming from Stephen King.
Oh, snap, you're live right now, really. Oh, well, hey, Facebook
Oh, thank you,
user,
Facebook.
identify yourself.
Yeah, exactly. We thought we kind of had the Facebook issue settled.
Well, no, we'll still see the comments, but unless you have to
Right.
get Facebook permission to show your face on outlinks, and this is going to YouTube and all this other crap.
So so that's kind of the thing. So it's like so I think it's safe to say that it's like, if Kickstarter prioritizes anything, is your customer base.
Yeah.
It's like, you have a customer base, you're good. You don't have a customer base, oh, I'm sorry, you have to market the shit out of yourself to build one. And it's like, and unfortunately, that seems to be the thing that you cannot escape. You have to market yourself.
Word up.
This is a book that was recommended to me by Tyler Carpenter. I know. But the thing is, though, when you're right, you're right. And he's right.
Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's like, this is, look, this is dry reading. It's not sexy. It's going to ask you to think about your work in a way that I know a lot of people don't like thinking about, i.e. in terms of a customer base. I know we all love to be precious with our shit, and it's like, oh, it's like, build it and they will come. No, they will not. They will not.
It ain't Field of Dreams, buddy.
No, and you're not building a mousetrap. It's like you're writing you're creating something that's incredibly subjective. And you have to convince an audience that you are the person they are going to spend their money on, and they are going to spend their time on, and they are going to put their effort into. It's like, it's like, okay, you can sell a TNA comic in 30 seconds. That's how can you sell? And if you're not doing that, you still have to sell your book in 30 seconds. How do you do that? How do you do that? And the thing is, though, is that that's kind of, again, that in and of itself is kind of subjective. This book gives you the tools. You can buy it. I bought it on Kindle for like $4. You can do that too. Buy this book on Kindle.
You can get it. You can get it and put it on your shelf for $7. I did it.
Right. And it's like, do the exercises in it, and then you have to build from there. No, absolutely. Elevator pitches are crucial. Facebook user, anonymous Facebook user.
Yes.
Because in the end, there's no escaping it.
Right.
You have to sell your book in 30 seconds. The sexy covers already have an advantage.
Right.
Okay. Being mad at them does nothing for you.
Nope. In fact, love them. They're beautiful. Most of them.
Look, there's a lot of good artists out there. What can I say? It's like, But the thing is, though, it's like, if you're frustrated with how your campaigns are running, with how your campaigns are doing, you need to self-reflect. I'm sorry. There's no escaping that. You need to self-reflect, and you need to think about your audience. How is your audience seeing you? How are you selling your book in 30 seconds or less when people are doing this? You're competing with TikTok. You're competing with Facebook Reels.
Yeah.
You're competing with some guy putting up kitten memes or something. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. It's like, you're competing with this. Okay.
Yep. What are you going to do? What can you do that's going to make them do this?
Yeah. That's going to make them stop. That's going to make them go, hey, wait a minute. I was looking for something like that.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's like, look, you know, the main thing that got me to stop up until this point, I'd never heard of Myra Danvers. I just happened to be trolling Kickstarter, and the one word that zeroed me in on her work was Omegaverse, because I had that brain rot from this manga series.
You already knew what it was. It was familiar.
Already knew what it was. It's familiar, and I wanted more of it. And here she was using that word. And it's like, whoop, there we go. We're sliding in. We're sliding in the DMs. you know? So it's like, and here's the thing too. It took me a little while to warm up to the entire fantasy romance genre to begin with, because yeah, they're just like those covers, you know, the stock art covers. It's a lot of, there's a lot of cringe in there. But nobody is saying they're writing a shitty book. Nobody says that. But it took me a while to finally. Now it's like, look, Myra, she can look. If
well,
it has
actually, there was
on
one
it,
guy one time I did hear him say, "Well, people only buy my books for the covers," which translates, "My writing is shit." But whatever, that's
right.
neither here nor there.
Yeah, but you see, the funny thing is that if you were to say that, it's like, oh, so your writing's good. If you were to actually say that to them, they'd get offended.
No. My story's great.
Right. And that's the thing. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Nobody really says that and actually means it. So now Myra is, every time I say her name, that's my 30 seconds. It's like, you don't have to say anymore. Don't say anything more. Myra has a new book out. I got it. And how do you get people to do that to you? It's like to hear your name and go, I got it. It's like, Daphne has a new book out. I got it. Jose has a new book out. I got it.
Right.
And that's what you have to work towards. Don't worry about, it's like, look, do the TNA guys have an advantage? Absolutely. And it's like, you kind of have to suck it up, in the end.
It really shouldn't be nothing to suck up, because
right.
Why are you viewing these creators as your competition? Why are you throwing temper tantrums live over how much better they're doing than you? It's like, it's
right. It's like, look,
it's not even the same thing.
Right. It's not, so it's like, so yeah. So good storytelling, all you want. But the thing is that you have to realize that your audience is going to take a lot more time to warm up to you than if they were just looking for the pretty covers. Carl Witzman, that kind of author loyalty is based on the people who actually read your stuff, not just collect it. Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like, so that means you have to put in more effort to get those people to actually, because look, time, once you lose time, that's it. So you have to convince people that your stuff is worth spending time on. Shane says, I find that getting to know my audience and having meaningful conversations with them about common interests really makes a difference. Oh, that's true too.
Well, that's true, but that's an already established audience.
Right.
Like, we're talking about, I'm not using the term cold audience, because there's no such thing. That's a fucking myth.
Exactly. We were kind of talking about that. That's
how Daphne said, how Daphne said Omegaverse was her trigger word to go check out Myra.
Right.
That type of shit. Like that real quick, what's going to make me come look at you if I've never glanced in your direction before?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's kind of like we're fandom. So it's like you're kind of catering to fandom depending on what your fandom is. Look, it could be like monster truck fandom for all you know. It's like something that they relate to, either to you as an author or to you as or to you as your work that, but then again, I think that could also be emotional resonance too.
Right.
Yeah. So you're either down here or you're up here. It's kind of the same. I guess it depends on, like what exactly. But yeah, I mean, I know that we can continue talking about this, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's very easy to say that good storytelling trumps, superficial trappings. But the problem is that superficial trappings are an easy sell. And if you really do think
and easily recognizable,
right, easy recognizable, and it's like, and if you really do think you have something
is
of
that
value,
a nipple?
you have to go out of your way to prove that you have something of value, that
Right.
the people you're selling to values. You can value it all you want, but if the people you're trying to get their attention, they don't value it or they don't see the value in it, it doesn't matter what you say.
Nope.
You know, so the goal is to get that audience to go, yeah, I'm going to pay attention to you. You know, and yeah, and it's a lot harder. You know, it's a grind. Sorry, that's, you know, I mean,
Welcome
there
to the
is,
real world.
I mean, that, yeah. So, yeah, so, you know, that's the thing. So the next time you see discourse like this, it's like, the thing is, they're both right, but you
They're
know,
both wrong too.
they're both right, they're both wrong. The truth is always somewhere in the middle. And it's like, sorry, no matter what happens, you still have to market yourself. You still
Damn
have to
straight.
sell yourself. You know, there's no escaping that. There is no showing up. You know. So I think that's a good point. That's a good place to end it. We're already past the hour.
Yeah,
So yeah. So you have any final thoughts on this, Nita?
no.
No, yeah. Okay. So there you go.
Set him at the go.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it for us. Thank you so much to everybody in the chat for joining us. Thank you so much, all my beautiful eyeball people joining us from regions beyond. Thank you so much for spending this hour and 10 minutes with us. We're always going over. So if you want to learn more about me and my artwork and my upcoming campaigns, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook if you are interested in seeing sketches and current work in progress updates. And also you can find me on YouTube as well for 500 plus videos of how I do my nonsense, and semi-weekly art live streams Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. I didn't do a lot. Usually it's every other. So far it's every other Wednesday. I do a live stream. So yes, so 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 hours of me working on something and just having conversations, open conversations with the chat, whatever you guys want to talk about. I usually, you know, it's all good. Also you can read Eager Raven Air the First Unicorn for free, uploading every day, Monday through Friday. And remember that the pre-launch page for issue 8 is live right now. So the link is in the show notes. Issue 8 coming early 2024. 8 out of 15. We're almost there. You know, we're almost there. So yeah, so keep an eye out for that. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link over to Tall Tales, TAILS online.com. And not only can you read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free, you can catch up on the latest story arc, Tears of the Mother, which is also currently uploading Mondays through Friday and will be returning to Kickstarter in 2024 as well, with the reissue of issues 1 through 5 and the brand new issue 6. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We will see you again on today's Friday, right? Monday. Yeah. We will see you on Monday again for another episode of whatever this is. And in the words of the ancients, eat your food, moisturize, mind your business, and do the work. Because when you actually do the work, you never have to fake any of your accomplishments. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you next time.
I got one. When I first heard about Dave being trapped in a maze, I was like, well, at least he's not sucking a big veiny dick for Kickstarter money.
That's not how Kickstarter works.